For those of you who aren't familiar with our company, here's a quick introduction to what we do at Alaska Flour Company.
This is barley, and we grow it right here on our family farm in Delta Junction, Alaska. We take the barley from the field to the mill where it goes in looking like this and comes out looking like this.
This ancient grain is grown in soil that hasn't been disturbed since the dawn of time, and we like to keep it that way. Our no-tillage planting methods and use of cover crops retain the nutrients in the soil that has been building for thousands of years. Our endless daylight packs our barley so full of goodness you can taste the difference in every bite of our one-of-a-kind Alaska-grown products. Alaska Flour Company, grown in Alaska, milled in Alaska, delivered fresh to you. Plan your next meal using Alaska-grown barley. My name is Milo Wrigley from Alaska Flour Company. You met my dad on the video. He manages the farm and I manage the flour mill. I'm really excited that you're all here tonight because it shows me that you're invested in our local food system. I hope you were able to fill your bellies with all of the awesome Alaska grown options available to you today. That's what we're all about here at Alaska Flour Company. Our goal is to build a food source available year-round that is nutritious and affordable. Everyone has their story on how they came to live in Alaska. And for my parents, it was for different reasons than most. My parents farmed in Idaho when they were first married until the early 1980s. When my dad saw an article in a magazine that talked about farmland opening up in Alaska. Have you ever read something or seen something that put an idea in your head and created an itch that just needed to be scratched? That's what happened to my dad. He came up to Alaska in the summer of '83 to check things out. Everywhere he looked, he saw opportunity. It's that same opportunity that has led most farmers to Alaska with an itch that needed to be scratched. The last 40 years have come with challenges, but Theodore Roosevelt was quoted saying, "Nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, and difficulty." Farming in Alaska is worth doing, even though it is difficult, and at -50, it's even painful. Investing in Alaska's food security became our goal as we built the flour mill.
In 2005, Hurricane Katrina happened. I was watching the news and I remember the announcer saying somebody had killed their neighbor for food. And some reason that just really resonated with me. And I thought, you know, the earthquakes we have up here, volcanoes, the different situations that occur in Alaska. I've long believed that somebody that relies on another place for their food potentially loses their ability to make their own decisions.
But how in the world do you change 700,000 people's minds about where they should be getting their food when most people think their food comes from the grocery store? Behind every package of food you pick up at the grocery store, there is a producer who tilled, weeded, and harvested that product to make it available for you when you need it. Studies show Alaska imports 95% of our food supply. What a tremendous opportunity for Alaskan farmers. Farmers in Alaska are already growing beef, hogs, sheep, goats, chickens, eggs, vegetables, grains, fruits, milk, and more. These products represent a balanced diet. With all of these products, we haven't even touched the capacity that consumers want. Alaska imports $2.5 billion a year in food. Wouldn't it be cool to keep part of that in our own economy? Wouldn't it be even cooler to know that if there was a disaster, Alaskans could still get food locally? The recent COVID epidemic showed us how fragile our food supply chain can be. Wouldn't you sleep better knowing that your food source was in Alaska instead of 2,000 miles away? In November 2018, when the 7.1 earthquake hit Anchorage, we were working in the mill, finishing an order going to Anchorage. At the time, we didn't know what the effect of the earthquake would be, but we shipped out 4 pallets of product that day. During the pandemic, we were contacted by a retail chain. They said they couldn't find any flour on the West Coast and asked if we could send them some flour. We sent 6 pallets down to fill their stores. While neither of these examples significantly threatened the food supply, They show how having a local food system can respond quickly to emergencies. This is our goal at Alaska Flour Company. We raise our own barley and then mill it into a wide range of products to replace what you already buy at the stores. We walk through the store and look at the products on the shelf and say, we can make that, we can make that, we can make that. If you look at our product line, you see that we are creating an Alaskan alternative to the foods that are being shipped in because that's what people want. People want food in a form they recognize, which requires processing. By processing our grain into a wide range of products, people can get whole grain goodness in food they are already familiar with, like pancakes, cereal, couscous, and desserts. There are other examples of processing already going on in Alaska. The average person eats 6.6 pounds of potato chips a year. Alaska Chip Company processes local potatoes to make potato chips in Alaska. The average consumer drinks 25 gallons of milk a year. Alaska Range Dairy in Delta Junction processes local milk that is sold throughout the state. If you have a sweet tooth, they even make chocolate milk. Americans eat 120 pounds of beef and pork per person per year. Alaskans raise 5.4 million pounds of beef and pork per year, which is processed into steaks, roasts, and hams. The average American eats 140 pounds of fresh vegetables a year. Nearly all of the vegetables grown in Alaska are fresh packed. With processing, many of them can be made available year round. The point is that Alaska is already growing a wide variety of food and could grow much more, but it's often difficult to break into the mainstream food system. That's where consumers carry a big stick. We as consumers can request local food, and we make buying decisions that support that. Grocery stores and restaurants respond to consumers' requests. Distributors play an important role in connecting local food with consumers. Some distributors, like Linford of Alaska, recognize the importance of offering local food. There's a lot of potential for Alaskan agriculture to address food security. In fact, Alaskan agriculture is the only long-term solution to food security for us. We have tens of thousands of acres in Alaska that can produce food. That's much more than what Alaska can eat alone. Once we feed Alaska, there's going to be a much larger capacity to produce for export. Because of Alaska's strategic location, we have the options to export our products to various countries. That's how Alaska's agriculture industry is going to continue to grow. We're going to be a much larger industry here that's actually going to contribute a significant amount. That's what the Alaska Flour Company is. This is the future of agriculture. Many years ago, William Jennings Bryan said, "Burn down your cities and leave your farms, and your cities will spring up again as if by magic. But destroy our farms, and the grass will grow in the streets of every city in the country." Farmers and consumers need each other. Without farmers, there could be no consumers, and without consumers, there would be no need for farms. I want to extend a thank you to Bush's Bunches for putting this event on and allowing me to participate in this way. I look forward to hearing the discussions and other presentations throughout this evening.